Saturday Night Live is responsible for the careers of our favorite comedians. Eddie Murphy, Tracy Morgan, and Garrett Morris are a few of many that come to mind. The amount of professional comedians that come from the show are countless. In addition to the comedians that blew up from SNL, there's also several notable comedians that were on the show, but didn't make an impact while there. Some weren't given the opportunity to show their strengths on screen. Other cast members were disappointed with what they were given to work with. There's a long list of stars who fell into either one of these categories and ended up getting fired from the show. Damon Wayans was one of those comedians whose work on SNL isn't remembered, but what he did after has left a lasting impression on comedy fans everywhere. How did Damon Wayans end up getting fired from one successful comedy sketch show and getting cast in another? Here's why Damon Wayans was fired from SNL. Wayans started doing stand-up in the early 80s, and his first movie role was playing Banana Man in Beverly Hills Cop. The following year, he joined the cast of Saturday Night Live before the start of the 11th season in November 1985. This was the first season without Eddie Murphy in the cast, and with SNL's biggest star going on to make movies, the show once faced cancellation rumors. Creator Lorne Michaels was rehired, as well as some of the old writers too. During his time on SNL, Wayans was a featured performer and only appeared in 11 episodes. Whenever Wayans did appear in a sketch, he was often required to play the straight man. Knowing the kind of comedy that Damon Wayans is known for, this wasn't a great fit. This, along with the fact that many of his own sketch ideas were rejected, caused Damon to become increasingly frustrated. They had me in scenes where I would just hold a spear. I'm like, I'm not doing that. My mother's going to watch this show. No lines, just holding a spear and a thong. I'm like, I can't do this. I said, y'all need an extra for this. And so they told me, you're not a team player. I said, no, I'm just not a slave. After tensions would increase behind the scenes, the final straw was a sketch called Mr. Monopoly. In the sketch, two cops interrogated a man until they're interrupted by the man's lawyer, Mr. Monopoly, from the board game. Between dress rehearsals and the air show, Lorne told Wayans to change his suit and wear a cop uniform instead. Here, Damon snapped. He was irritated because he thought the sketch wasn't funny to begin with. It was at that moment Damon knew his short time at SNL was done. According to research, Wayne was supposed to play the cop as a heterosexual man, but during the live broadcast, he decided to reverse it by portraying the cops as a stereotypical gay man as a sign of protest. Soon after the skit would end, Lorne Michaels would fire Wayans for insubordination. Back in 2015, Wayans shared details of his firing to The Weekender. Wayans felt restricted while being a cast member, but Lorne Michaels felt like he was protecting Wayans from Eddie Murphy's comparisons. I was angry. It wasn't funny because I was angry. They didn't let me do what I wanted to do on SNL, which I came to learn was Lorne Michaels' way of protecting me from looking like I was trying to be the next Eddie Murphy. It was right after Eddie Murphy left the show, and they weren't letting me do anything that I wanted to do, so I went against the script. That was my frustration. In the interview, Wayans even admitted that he knew he was going to be fired for his decision and even said that Lorne did the right thing. I did it with the wrong spirit, and he was right to let me go. He was right to fire me. He fired me on the spot, no regrets. I went on to do what I wanted to do. A lot of the things that I wanted to do, I went on to do it on In Living Color. I was 25. I was young and full of myself on SNL. I didn't know any better to be patient and wait for my time. After getting fired, Wayans had plenty of brief appearances in films like Hollywood Shuffle, Roxanne, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, and a few others. In between movies, Wayans was a guest star on A Different World and got his own half-hour HBO stand-up special on One Night Stand. In 1990, just 4 years after he was fired on SNL, Wayans joined his brother Keenen Ivory Wayans in Living Color. There, Damon was able to play his strengths and create plenty of memorable characters. Homie the Clown, Homeboy Shopping Network, Handyman, and Anton Jackson were some of his creations. Eventually, Wayans was brought back to host an episode of SNL in April 1995. All of the stuff I was trying to do on a Saturday Night Live was actually stuff I was able to do on In Living Color. The great thing about In Living Color is it's only a half hour. SNL is 90 minutes. I have respect for the fact that they can do it because it's hard to fill in time. The reason why sketches to me on SNL aren't funny is because we live in an ADD society where 5, 6, 7 minute sketches is way too long. You know, I'm not listening. It's not funny anymore. 2 minute sketches work. And that's what we were able to do on In Living Color. We were doing 2, 3 minute sketches, and then we was out. We left you wanting more. Wayne's instinct in knowing that he was bigger than the small parts at SNL seemed to have been right, as he would go on to write and star in movies like Mo Money, Blank Man, and Major Payne, as well as star and co-create the hit series My Wife and Kids in the early 2000s, showing audiences even more edgy and fun-loving characters that came from his mind. Though Damon's run on SNL was short, he still managed to become a household name in comedy.